guys, it's Karl. I thought I'd make one of my last desk setup videos in this place, as I think a lot of you know I'm moving to a new house which we're currently building sometime by the end of this year, and creating new desk setups has been something that I've done on the channel for years, 7, 8, 9, maybe even close to 10 years, the duration of my channel. Why I think they're so cool: it not only motivates you to obviously work, create cool spots to get stuff done. I've created my entire YouTube channel around that, but also to kind of just inspire your workflow. I find that creating nice, beautiful spots where you work, especially if you are working from home, if you sit somewhere for 6, 7 hours a day, to create Zen-like places that make you feel good, I think you can increase your productivity. So welcome to the last desk setup or desk makeup of this current spot here in my studio. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll of course start off with the desk itself. I think that's always the first thing to start off with. So this is maybe my favorite in the 6 or 7 desks that are currently in my studio. This is from Artifox. And I'll start off by prefacing, these desks are effing pricey. They're around $1,500 to $2,000 for a desk, which I know is pricey. But like I said, if you're investing into a workspace where you're sitting 6, 7 hours over, 5, 6, maybe even 10-year span, I think the investment can be worth it in the end. My typical IKEA desk setups, those degrade a bit over time. Since they are made out of particle board, they just don't stand up well to wear. These things are solid. They're built well, they're designed well, and they look gorgeous and fit into any spot. And they have these really nice little details that make the experience of the desk a lot better. I know that's a weird saying, but for example, this nice cable management slot, or this nice little inlet right here. So if you know me at all, my cable management is just straight up trash. And with this desk, I feel like I can actually get by. As Nick looks off camera here, it's literally a Medusa. I think my cable management is probably the best it's been, and through these channels you can slip through those cables, and it also has this nice little grill on the front. With the help of some Velcro ties, you can make your space nice and tidy. And the reason why I've gone for a Pro display or a one display setup with my MacBook Pro is just to have that one cable solution. So this entire setup is powered by one power cable that does run through the table, like I said, and finishes on the bottom where the feet are. And I actually have this fancy little power bar, which is this one, the Eve Energy Strip. And I typically don't geek out over energy strips a lot, but I'm gonna go a bit in depth as it kind of ties into the setup. So this one, you can see it's actually milled with silver aluminum around the outside, which actually matches the Pro Display XDR. It feels very Apple Mac-like. It's got the 3 outlets, and what I like, you can actually control each of them individually with these 3 little buttons on the side. So if you want one of them to be off for whatever reason, for example, we've got the display off while we're filming so it isn't purple shining in my face from my wallpaper background, you can just manage that. So going back to the display, which is the Pro Display XDR, and I love this thing to bits. It's like my prized possession. I've had it since it's come out. I know that Apple also has their own studio display, but just because I have it, it's an iconic piece. It's got that nice cheese grater back. Would I spend 5,000 or 7,000 Canadian for this again? Probably not. And it is the glossy panel. You can get the nano texture for an additional 1,000. The stand alone on this milled piece of aluminum, is $1,000 as well. It's ridiculous, but it's one of those pieces which I'm hoping lasts a lifetime. I'm bringing it to the new studio, and like I said, it's a statement piece. There are way cheaper options, but I splurged. It was a gift to myself for coming into this studio spot. I guess with that naming, I should technically be rocking the studio display, but I do love the Pro Display XDR. And hooked up to it, I have my 16-inch MacBook Pro. I have it in the M2 Max spec. Thankfully, Apple did send this one to me. It's an absolute beast. It's got 96 gigs of RAM. It churns through all the content that we produce here like absolute butter. It's overkill for my setup and what I do, but since Apple sent it over, I will obviously take it. My only regret, they sent it in space gray. I wish they did send it in silver to match all my silver accessories. I feel space gray was very, 2009, 2010 when it was popular, but I wish I had silver. That's the epitome of first world problems, wishing your $10,000 MacBook was a different color. What I truly recommend though, which I think is still an absolute steal, is the M2 Mac Mini. So this starts at $599, and with that, like I said, you got the M2 chip. The performance on this is next level. You could actually justify spending the money for a Pro Display XDR or even a studio display, skimp out on the computer, which you're not, because this still packs a ton of power. This can pretty much still edit all of my workflow, churn through 4K content. The only difference between this and say my MacBook Pro is the processing times, or how long it takes to render a video. The timelines are still the same, so obviously that means I'm not scratching the surface on my MacBook Pro, but editing on this is an absolute breeze. And like I said, if you want the performance of a MacBook Pro in a smaller profile, this thing is super cute. It's got, once again, an iconic design. It's in silver, so it matches the Pro Display XDR. I cannot recommend this machine enough. Obviously, with the Mac Mini, you'll need a keyboard, and I still actually use this for my MacBook Pro when it's closed in clamshell. So this is the Keychron K2. It's a $99 mechanical keyboard. Why I love it, other than the little orange escape key, which I think makes it personal, mechanical keyboards just have such a nicer feel. Even though I am very used to typing out on my MacBook keyboard, it just gives you so much more travel. It's nicer to use. And obviously the mouse combo that I always go to whenever I'm at a desk, it's the MX Master 3S for Mac. Of course, this is by Logitech. I swear by this. It's in every single one of my videos. $99, make the purchase, and I'll use this until they come out with the MX Master 4. Cameras that I use, I always keep one on my desk just in case I need to shoot any sort of content. We're recording on 2 of them right now as well. This is the Sony a7S III. It needs no introduction. We record in 4K. Of course, we're shooting in S-Log3. So we edit, of course, all the material from here that we're shooting will make its way onto my MacBook. The key accessories that I use to speed up my workflow are these 2 guys, which just live right underneath my little desk stand, and they're the only accessories actually that are really on my desk that have really good use. Oh, I think they're even Link approved too. Link is coming to say hi. Link, are you gonna make an appearance on the video? So Link sometimes makes an appearance. He's obviously here at the studio. Oh. Link, are you gonna go say hi to the camera? Hi. He's probably just a bit camera shy. Are you a bit camera shy? Are you a bit camera shy? And like I said, even though we have all this great gear that I shoot on, the typical bottleneck for me has always been my SD cards, even though each of these videos takes maybe, 100 gigs of space. The transfer times are usually something that bogs me down. So this is their new CF Express Type A card. This has read and write speeds of 900 megabits per second. It is lightning quick. So no matter what profile I'm recording in, whether that's even 8K, which these cameras have that capability to do, I can transfer that footage seamlessly from my camera to my computer and wait a couple minutes compared to 15 or 20, which makes a big difference, especially when I'm traveling. If I want a bit more space, if you want to keep things on budget, still a really good card. This is their gold card, which is in a traditional SD card form factor. It's around 270 megabits per second, and you'll just need this little adapter to, of course, take both of those cards. And I still swear by this, as that SD card slot on the MacBook is still sometimes a hit or miss. So definitely still use this dongle to manage all of my workflow. And of course, last but not least, I do use a little hard drive from Lexar. This thing just stores all of the footage. As I said, every video, it's over 100 gigs. I've cheaped out a bit on the storage on my MacBook, so just take something that's a bit cheaper and you can just stack a couple of these and store footage throughout the year. The last thing's obviously some smartphones on the desk. The one that I kind of use, my 14 Pro Max, it's kind of my daily device just because I'm invested so heavily into the Apple ecosystem, using things like AirDrop, iMessage. It's just kind of hard to get sucked out of the Apple black hole. But for Android, I'm using this. So this is the Honor Magic VS. It's their folding phone. I'm really digging folding phones just because of the form factor. They're nice and large, but they're still, of course, slim enough to use when they're folded up. It's just overall one of the better folding phones on the market. It's an absolute beast spec-wise. My only criticism is that little crease in the middle, which you can still slightly see. I've seen other manufacturers make them a bit less visible, but always room for improvement for their next gen. And that's pretty much most of the tech. Like I said, I try to keep things super minimal. Like, this setup is really meant for productivity. I don't want to get too distracted by any gaming consoles, by any Nintendo Switches. I know that the new Legend of Zelda game is coming out, which I will take an entire week off to crush. Yeah, this is really focused towards being productive. I manage all of the social media stuff that I produce right through this. The last thing is just these little desk accessories, which I like to have. They kind of always bring a smile to my face. I obviously got to be Team Bulbasaur, so I have my little silver Funko Pop. Bulbasaur is the best starting Pokemon out of the OG3. Nick will tell you otherwise. Speaking of Nick, he actually got me this sweet little Singer Porsche. I don't think he realizes how dope this is. Singer is probably the coolest retro mod company out there. I think it's one of my dream cars. Obviously, he got it in orange, which I am in love with. And that is pretty much all of the tech that rests on this little Artifox desk riser, which I love. It's in this black finish, and it's kind of cool because it's magnetic. So it comes with these little accessories. For example, this little table stopper, and that loud snapping sound that you heard is because it is magnetic. You can actually take a couple of these little pegs and say, for example, you have bits of paper. They're essentially like paperweights, but they snap onto this nice desk riser, and it obviously keeps the space a bit more organized. It hides some of the accessories like my Lexar stuff underneath the Pro Display XDR, and it just gives a bit more depth to your desk setup. So super, super dope as I'm trying to snap that out. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, this was created for a bit of inspiration. I'll leave every one of these products listed down below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a solid time here at the studio, and I'm sure most of this stuff will find its way into the new studio spot in the new house, and I'll keep you guys updated on the build around that. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next vids. Peace.